is he strong enough as a man and as a class to protect his interests, which are predominantly economic interests, against the person that's coming in over his shoulder? I promise you that the guy that's looking to take his job is a Jewish guy from Brooklyn. As far as I'm concerned, New York City has always been where you earn what you have by your own blood.
Hey, Christopher, is this how you see the novel's aim? Is this what it's doing? Is it catching this modern New York man under intense pressure?
Yes, and your own blood, which has to be other people's as well.
Right.
You'd accept that
right.
correction.
Absolutely.
I mean, and here's
hopefully
what the novel really is a call to white people and the better off to develop an unabashed class and racial consciousness in the face of people who do have it or are suspected of having it, in the face of people who are poorer and darker than them, and to do so at a time when demography says that sometime last year New York ceased to have a white majority for the first time in its history, that the third great wave of immigration that's washing into America is changing Los Angeles and Miami and New York. In this respect, New York isn't atypical, I think, Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
And that's a change that white people feel very uneasy about, and yet in the post-civil rights epoch haven't got an idiom in which they can express the unease without wondering if they're going to be called racist or wondering if they are, in fact, developing racial prejudice. Wolfe is saying, don't worry about that. Stick up for yourselves for a change. Be unapologetic. This is also what he did in Radical Chic and in Now Mowing the Flat Couch.
But whatever his message, wherever he comes out at the end, has he got the crisis right? Are we convinced by the crisis? Rhoda, you live there. Is it the way Wolfe says it is?
I agree with everything Ed says, but I think the novel has a great many assumptions that Wolfe has not examined and doesn't even seem to be aware of. For instance, the fact that, as Ed's been saying, a man is defined there by his work, by his job, and the relations of men to women, the way they think of women, what they see women being for, seems completely irrelevant to Wolfe. The women are all accessories to embody the importance of the men. And this is something that Tom Wolfe doesn't seem to be bothered by at all. He notes it in passing, but he doesn't act as if there's anything wrong with it.
But couldn't we argue that one of the things he's doing here is saying that in this insane rat race, where a man who earns $980,000 a year is going broke, in this insane world, there ain't no time to fall in love. There ain't no time for any intimacies.
Also,
well, sure, but why has he...
in the struggle to be a man and to stick up for your race and class, one of the enemies is feminization of men, and it's another thing Wolfe has often written in a very disobliging way about, is the tendency for men to become feministic, and that's, I think, therefore, essential to the novel, that women are, as Rhoda, correctly says, they're represented.
So whatever our criticism of it, we're saying this is catching something. This is catching something in the current sensibility. Men are anxious about.
Yes,
Only you, like me, don't know New York. I mean, are you insofar as it means anything to say, are you convinced by the picture? Are you convinced by the picture?
I'm convinced by the fact that that, as Ed says, and Christopher too, that there is this kind of growing, very visible ethnicity in New York. But I also want to say that I think we might overemphasize the waspness. Yes, the waspness may well be the thing which is being threatened, but the master of the universe, I think, is a wider kind of category. It's not only the Yaley, not only that, it's also that a number of people can actually occupy that position. It need not just be the WASP. And as you say, New York has always been an immigrant culture in a sense. So I think it's a question of waves rather than some kind of pyramidal structure. But I am convinced, I think only at the immediate visual level, but like Rhoda, I do feel that this might be at one level an immediately gut-convincing picture. At another level,
but that's the first decision as a reader you make. How, particularly if you know Wolfe, his claim all along has been, I am a reporter, and the reporter can go where the novelist
and certainly the drive.
Do we feel that does the reporting look good? Are we convinced by that picture of the city?
In only one sense, I think, does it fail, which is that it makes it seem as if all those who are not white are in alliance against all those who are. This is a means of disciplining the white reader. In fact, a continuing picture in New York is the quarreling between blacks and Puerto Ricans, between blacks and Koreans in particular.
I'd like to say that whereas you do get this feeling of tension amongst communities, I think what actually homogenizes them is this great fear that McCoy seems to have about
Yeah, but
the black world. There's this great unquestioned fear
The thing is,
in the book.
the thing is this. It seems to me that also what Wolfe is saying is that the American heritage has always been very competitive. It's very different from the European tradition.